Good afternoon, you guys. Got to get my earbuds in here. Welcome to another episode of the Get to Know Her show. I'm so excited to have you here. I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and sharing our show with your friends. The listenership is growing, and this is really, really exciting because the women I interview on this show are so spectacular in my life, and I want to share them all with you. And I want you to continue to feel inspired, even in these times of uncertainty. There's always hope. There's always amazing people to meet and get to know. And that's what we are doing here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Today, I am bringing on Tara MacIntosh, who is a dear friend to me and also a writing coach. So Tara does a lot of things. She's a writer, she's an author, she's a corporate speaker, she's a workshop leader, she's a landlord, and she's an entrepreneur. She has the most amazing energy. I cannot wait to bring her on here. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different topics, and 45 minutes might not be enough. But we will get her on here in just a moment. I wanted to point out again my beautiful top I'm wearing today. This is from our sponsor, Brenda Badome, and it's really nice. It's like an icy blue top. I love the sleeves, and I've got her pants on again, of course. So hopefully you guys can see that okay. I love this icy blue color. And you know what is so great about it too is wearing these kinds of colors in the fall and the winter, because we need color. It brightens up the day, and we're going to need all the sunshine we can get over the next few months of fall and winter. So I encourage you to get your pastels on. I'm also wearing one of our mask chains, and this fun mask from my friend Teresa from Hides in Hand. She's very kindly donated masks to us to photograph our mask chains with. And I feel so good today because I'm wearing the Brenda top. I've got the mask and the mask chain on. I've got a matching little bracelets that we created for the Registered Nurses Foundation of Ontario to help them raise money for nursing scholarships. I just feel like I got all these good vibes on me today. So think about that when you're getting dressed in the morning. What are you wearing that's giving you good energy? Because I think it's important. And if you guys haven't had a chance to go on Brenda Badome's website yet, please go on. It's Brenda B, and her last name is spelled BEDDOME.com. And you can use the coupon code Get to Know Her for 13% off of your order, which is a huge savings. That's your HST. So check her out, get yourself something great to wear, and let's bring on Tara. Here she comes.
Hello.
How are you, beautiful lady?
Good. How are you?
Good. I miss you like crazy.
I know. And can I just say that mask is fabulous? Oh,
Isn't
my.
That fun? Yeah. I know.
Look at those sparkles. Woohoo. Love it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's so fun. Have you ever met my friend Teresa from Hides in Hand? I don't know if you met her at an event. She does leatherware, but okay. These are her masks. As soon as the pandemic hit, like the week after, she was getting scraps of fabric and making masks, and now she's got this whole collection. And she's such a generous person. When she found out we were doing masks, she just sent me like 15 masks and said, "Here, use these for your photos." And yeah,
so great. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, maybe through one of our events or parties or something, I have come across her, but I'll definitely check it out. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's good. We got to have a little disco fun in the mix.
Can't have enough sparkle.
We cannot have enough sparkle.
Yeah.
So Tara, you know what I miss so much is our happy hour meetings we used to have.
Me too.
Over at the, okay, now I forgot the name of it. The beer house?
Your town.
Town. I always want to call it the beer house, right? Beer town.
Beer house.
Yeah. That was so nice. We got into a little thing there. Once a month we'd meet for a beer and talk business. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember who introduced us, how we first met.
I think it was through Hub, maybe the one of
Oh, yes.
the groups. Yeah.
That's right. It was through that. Yeah. And then we became fast friends. And one of the things, I mean, I think it was, okay. So first of all, I took your writing course, which was so fantastic.
Oh, great.
And it was really, really great. The venue was really cool too, because it was at Styled in Burlington, and they do your hair. They don't cut your hair, right? But they just style, and they do nails, things like that. So you had rented out the space and had about 6 of us. There were like 6 students, and we got to have all this time with you. And when I took the course, I was really excited to learn about like writing for my blog and writing for business. But one of the things I loved that I didn't expect to love was you were really big on creative writing and exploring storytelling and making up stories and doing a little bit of fictional stuff. And that it really expanded my brain and helped me with my blogging. Yeah. And I love it. And I still refer to the workbook from that course.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. It was really good. But, and then after that, so I did the course with you, and then we went to see Tony Robbins together.
Yes.
That was so fun. That was great. And the jumping and the whole, and the best part was when all of that craziness first started. Do you remember, like, I remember feeling like these people are mental. I am not doing this. Like, I got my defensive. Like, I am not jumping up and down and freaking. And then by the end, you and I were dancing. We were high-fiving. Imagine doing that now, hugging strangers.
Oh, yes, exactly. In a whole row of strangers just hugging. Seems so foreign now, right?
I know, it seems so foreign, but we're lucky. We sure had, I mean, we've only known each other a couple of years, and we've done some pretty fun things together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, me too.
So now here we are in quarantine, pandemic time.
Yeah.
And I am so happy that you had the time to come on today.
Of course.
Because I got lots of questions for you.
Good.
I'm putting the light in your face. Yeah. Let the interrogation begin.
Camera.
Yeah. So Tara, tell me about little Tara when you were a little squirt. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well,
you were probably always a tall squirt, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
little. Yeah. Well, a lot of different things, really, because I've always loved to try lots of things. But one of the things that sticks out in my mind, which I think you will appreciate, is I wanted to be a rock star.
Yes.
Even though I can't sing at all or play instruments, really.
Yeah.
It just looked like a really fun lifestyle that I could get on board with, you know?
Oh my God. This is why we're soul sisters. It's all making sense now.
Yes. So, I just loved music and performing, and I did a lot of theater when I was younger. So I thought, traveling around, playing music every night, I like that. How do I get on board with that? Didn't quite work out, but
Wow. When you were a kid, did you have like dance parties and stuff for birthday parties?
Yeah, well, more on the theater side. So yeah, probably. I mean, I was a military kid, so we moved around a lot of different schools and different friends. So one thing that I did always was go into theater, and then you meet a lot of people doing that, and I loved it. So my friends and I would write scripts or create little performances, and I'm sure my parents were thrilled that they had to watch all of these performances. We even did them in school. Like, we would put them on for our class if our teachers would allow us, or in an assembly or something. Just anything creative was really what I loved to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. So you would actually make up your own plays.
Yeah, sometimes. Like, we do the school plays and all of that, but we write our own scripts and just make stuff up all the time.
Oh, that's great. Were you the head writer? Do you remember?
Of
course. The head rock star writer.
Head rock star writer. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was probably collaborative to some degree, but I had my hand in there, guiding, let's say, gently guiding.
Gently guiding. Love it. Yeah. That's great. So you were moved around a lot. You're an Army kid. So how did that affect you growing up? Like how many years of moving around did you guys do?
All the way till I was 18. So we moved pretty much every couple of years, all the way through. So I went to 8 schools in 12 years, like switched schools constantly. We lived in Germany, as you know, another connection of ours. So we lived mostly from Ontario East in Canada and then overseas as well. So there's good and bad, of course. Like it was fine until you hit sort of your 13-ish years, and then you don't want to leave your friends. But the good part is we got to travel. We got to experience so many things. I think what it did for me is it really made me unafraid to try new things, which is helpful when you're a creative person, because the unknown is a huge part of what I do, what you do, what entrepreneurs do. So, I've been in so many situations where I just had to make it work, or just try something new, or switch directions quickly, or be adaptable in some way. So all of those skills helped me as an adult for sure. And the traveling, we got to experience traveling all over Europe and Canada, and just seeing different countries, different cultures, different people from a very young age. You're able to accept a lot of things and kind of go with the flow, and you're not looking for your routine all the time. You're able to move around and adapt to a lot of different situations, which is definitely helpful for any career, really. But as an entrepreneur, it's invaluable.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you keep in touch with any of your friends from back then? Or I could imagine that would have been hard to do without, there was no social media, or, unless you're writing letters and racking up your parents' long distance bill. Yeah. It would be hard.
Yeah, no internet for the majority of it. So it's different. Obviously now it would be completely different going through that experience. So we did write letters. We had pen pals for sure. And now we have groups like Facebook groups and things like that where anybody really in the military who in our age group who moved around can join and meet up with people that they knew previously. There's one specifically for the Germany group. Then there's one that's just open to everyone. And then you kind of find people. Now you can find people on the internet, right? So you can hunt out your friends and find them. And so I have definitely reconnected. And my sister as well, like she keeps in touch. So between the two of us, we have connected with lots of people from over the years.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's great. Yeah. So when you were 18, then what happened? What did you decide? Did you know what you wanted to do with your life by then, or were you?
Yes and no, I guess. Like, because I didn't grow up, I spent a lot of time overseas. Canada, when we came back, I wasn't that familiar with, it sounds crazy being Canadian, but you're living in a different country for quite a long time. So like university, I didn't quite understand how it all worked. Job market, because I wasn't witnessing anything other than military careers. Yeah. I didn't really have a wide scope of job markets and how corporate life worked and like that kind of thing. So it was a huge learning curve. It was a bit of a culture shock because you live in such an isolated group when you're on a military base, in a military family, so to speak. When we came back and we were just kind of thrown in with everyone else, I had to start to navigate that. So we came back, we moved to Gagetown, which is a huge Army base in New Brunswick. And I finished high school and went to school out there because my parents were still living there. So I thought, let's go here and, live at home, do a degree. But Toronto was a place that I always wanted to be. I had a lot of family in Toronto, so we had visited many times. And I love the art, the vibe, the energy, the art, all of that. So I knew I had to get to Toronto.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Destination Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the day that I finished my university out east, I moved to the city, and I lived there for many years. Pursuing all kinds of art and different things, and my career there and stayed there.
Wow. So what did you take at university?
So I did 2 degrees. I did business first, and then I did English afterwards at U of T once I arrived in Toronto.
Okay.
So I have a good base of business and English, which helps me in what I'm doing now, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's great. Now, in your description too, I love that you said you're a landlord. And I know you've got some interest in real estate. Now, and you do writing for real estate magazines, correct? Yeah. So where did that sort of start? How did that all come to be?
I don't really know. Maybe just because we moved around so much and we lived in lots of different homes, all different styles, and architecture as well. Like when you're traveling through Europe, especially, I mean, the architecture is amazing, and you get to see all these wonderful buildings. Old, mostly old, not a lot of new, but so you see all these structures, and I'm just fascinated with it. And it's also it was a financial decision, to be honest. So as a creative person, finance isn't always at the top of the list of how you get ahead. So I thought this is another way for me to do it. It still feels like entrepreneurial to buy real estate and rent it out and have that whole experience. It just, after I bought my first condo in Toronto, I bought the second and I kept the first and rented it out. So that's how it started. And then different things happened. I bought with partners sometimes. I bought other ones on my own. I loved the whole idea of accumulating this real estate. It just was so inspiring to me.
Were you good at Monopoly?
No, not really.
Wayne always jokes around that he's like, my wife is the nicest person until you play Monopoly with her. And he goes, she made my mom cry on Christmas Day. I'm like, oh God, stop telling people that.
It would definitely be
We'll have to play it together sometime.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So can I ask how old you were when you made your first investment into real estate?
28.
Wow. Yeah. Good for you. And that takes so much bravery to do that, because, tell us, like, what's it like to be a landlord?
Up and down for sure. Well, yeah. But again, like, I think what I was talking about before, where the fear factor, I wasn't afraid. I just jumped into it because everybody told me not to. Like, it's
wow.
Like, it's going to be a headache. Why do you want to get into this? It's, and they told me every horror story under the sun about tenants and things like that. But then I thought, well, I was a tenant and I didn't destroy my house. And a lot of my friends were or are tenants, and they're fine. Like, they're paying their rent and they're not putting holes in the walls. So not every tenant is bad, I worked with an agent, which I would definitely recommend anyone doing. And they help you find the person. They put the listing on MLS, just like as if you're selling. They go through all the background checks and share it with you. So you have the choice to take them or not take them. And then you just make your decision. And if it feels good, and you think this person, there's nothing stopping you from, there's no sort of intuition saying don't rent to this person. I've been pretty lucky. I've had very few upsets as a landlord, which is good. Like, I've had a few people late on their rent, but it always came. And a few nothing really significant to talk about. Just, I would say definitely use an agent. I've hired a property manager more recently, which I should have done from the start. It's so helpful. They take care of 90% of your problems, which is great. You don't have to worry so much about getting those calls, when something breaks down. And just be smart about it. Yeah.
Wow. And I really love what you said, that you went ahead with that when everybody was giving you the horror stories and the nightmare stuff, because you know, it's tough, like, to get through that, especially if it's like a close family member or somebody you respect and you want them to be on board and encourage you. But I love that you had that desire and it was so strong that it knocked your self-doubt out of the park. It didn't affect you. I mean, I'm sure it affected you in some way, but you went ahead with it anyway. And that's really great. A good lesson on following your gut.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of things you do that are going to be a bit outside of the norm, which I'm sure you and I as entrepreneurs experience. We have to do a lot of things that a lot of people are afraid to do. And there is no guarantee when we do it. We're just jumping off the ledge, hoping for the best with the knowledge that we have. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I would, if I never did it, I would always regret it. So I'd rather try it and fail than not try it and just regret, like wishing I had always done it. So glad I did.
That's great. Good. And so, Tara, you worked in the corporate world for a number of years, and then you busted free to do your own thing. So another big moment of bravery in your life. So can you tell us a little bit about that, like a little bit about your job in the corporate world and what kind of brought you to that decision that it's time to go out on your own? Because I know a lot of people are on the fence with that. And I think the biggest question is, how do you actually know when it's time? Because you hear different things like, oh, you should have a year of savings in your bank account. And, but who can save income for a 1 year income when you're trying to live off an income, right? It's hard. So
hard. Great question. So, I worked for about 14 years in the advertising world. So I worked for a big broadcaster in Toronto. And the whole time I worked my way into a sales job. It was basically a sales job where we were doing specialized advertising. So we worked with like HGTV, Food Network, Global Television, those big giants, and we would do deals with their, if one of our advertisers wanted to have interaction with one of the hosts for one of the shows, or they wanted to have their products in the shows, that type of thing, I would orchestrate those kinds of deals. So it was a very exciting job. It was, you get to be on set a lot, you get to meet a lot of Canadian celebrities, just so much energy and action, just go nonstop all the time, which was amazing. Like, I pulled so many wonderful experiences from that job. And you're kind of running a mini business within a business, because you're responsible for a sales target. You have a certain list of clients that you're working with exclusively. So you have to manage that within a bigger team. So that training was really great. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I left, that training helped me a lot to run my own business. So any sort of sales experience or experience that you have in the corporate world where you're working a project on your own within a bigger team, that will help you if you decide to take the jump and become an entrepreneur. So while I was doing that, though, I was always pulled to writing. Like, it never left my side, let's say. I can't even imagine not doing it for more than a day or two. So I was doing, my full-time job, but I was always publishing at least once or twice a year just to keep my name published. I was working for a couple of different magazines so I could get stuff going as much as I could, because my job was very demanding, so I could only manage so much. But I would do anything that I had the time to do in the writing world. And I was always taking seminars and just doing courses even, and all kinds of stuff on the side for writing. So I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I just didn't know how to do it financially because it's very difficult. So within the world of broadcasting, I'm sure many people are aware, there was a lot of mergers and acquisitions, a lot of, people were buying other companies, and eventually there was only a few big guys left. So I had lived through about 5 mergers at this stage. There was a lot of things going on and things were always changing. So I thought at one point I was just like, okay, I'm going to either stay this till the end and see how far I get through all of these mergers and what happens, or I'm going to take the leap that I've always wanted to and just see what happens. So I guess it wasn't quite like a one-day decision. About 6 months prior to that, I worked with a business coach to really just go through it all to make sure that it was really what I wanted to do. And it wasn't just like a dream fantasy thing, because, sometimes it's just something looks good, but when you get into it, of course, it's hard work. It's not as glamorous as it looks from the outside, like all of that.
Yeah.
So I went through about 2 months with a business coach just to make sure it was for sure the decision I wanted to make. Turned out it was. So then I started working with a couple of clients on the side for about 5 months. So I had a little bit of base before I actually left to work with. So that was helpful as well. And I would recommend, not everyone has the chance to do that. Depends on the type of business you're doing. But I had 2 or 3 writing clients. So I knew I had some income once I left my job.
Right.
So, good. Yeah. So then I did that. I only had about $10,000 in savings when I left. Definitely not a year's worth of anything. Within the first month, I had to repair the roof of my house and my car, major. So it basically the $10,000. So then I went, okay, let's hustle. The hustle begins.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of the hustle, did you ever feel like the hustle took the love of what you were doing away? Like, does it disrupt the flow of what you're doing? Do you ever struggle with that?
Yeah, for sure. Like it probably took me about 6 months to change my whole way of thinking and to change my spending habits and realize I can't do what I used to do at this state, at the first year of your business. Like, you can't spend the way you spend when you have a job, that's for sure. So it took me a while to adjust to the income shift, for sure. And then even, I started writing a lot for other people. And at that stage, I had to sort of take the jobs that were coming to me. I couldn't choose what I wanted to do.
Right.
So that part, I guess, is the part where prior to that, I was sort of choosing the jobs I wanted to work on while I was working in my full-time job as well. Right. So, So yeah, you have to take, and you also have to figure out what you're charging, which as a writer or an artist is very difficult because there is no guideline necessarily. Then I actually found like the Writers Guild of Canada and different places that give you guidelines to follow. But still, a lot of writers just want to write. So they will write for free a lot of the times. So you're fighting that becomes a big issue as well, that you have to work through and figure out your value and what you're offering. So all of that had to be taken care of and thought about.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of, when I'm thinking also, like, I left Canada Post after 18 years, right? And then went to do my business full time. So we share that in common. And what you're saying too is that like that realization where it's like, oh my God, there is no more disposable income. Like, the living the life of Riley days are over. But I also found, I don't know if you found this, I found it really rewarding. It came to light very quickly what I was spending my money on to feed some kind of hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, it was like ordering sushi all the time, going out for dinners, like, oh, I'll just pick up this top. I'm going to this thing. I need a new top. I need a new this. I need, and when I, like you, like when I looked at that first year and went, oh my God, like, you got to make your own meals now. You got to really watch those purse strings. You start to experience gratitude like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, I think going without is such a gift.
Yeah. It takes a minute to realize that. But I agree. Yeah. Like, if I liked a pair of shoes, I would buy 3 different colors because I like the shoes. So, let's load up. And you have to switch you realize you have so many things that you don't need. And why am I buying this stuff? And you really change your thinking around all of that, which is a gift that I did not see coming. I didn't even enter my mind when I first started. So
that's amazing. Yeah. So speaking of gratitude and all that good stuff, one of the things that you teach, which I think is so important, is journaling. And like you were just saying earlier, Tara, you can't go a day or two without writing.
Yeah.
And you're really passionate about teaching other people to write. Like, even if you think you're not a writer, write stuff down. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you believe in that so much and what the benefits are to anybody who is maybe thinking about journaling or thinking about, writing anything really? What would the benefits be to someone to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really as soon as I meet people and they find out I write, I'll say 99% of the time you hear back, oh, I love to write, but I can't, or I don't know where to start, or these kinds of things, which I'm like, oh, it hurts me.
Aww.
You can. Everybody can. And you don't have to be perfect. I think one of the big blocks is we all do writing in school, and we're graded and we're judged on it. So if you don't think you're good, or some teacher told you weren't good, then it blocks you for the rest of your life, which is so tragic to me. Forget about that. It's over, and you were writing something specific that maybe you weren't interested in. So that, just don't even worry about that anymore. And I work with people to get rid of that block, because that, I've discovered, is one of the big reasons that people just give up, because they just didn't like it in school and they had to do it, and they don't like reading the classics or whatever it is. So once we get over that, then there's just so much that writing offers. And the biggest piece that I think that I see being discovered, which is every time, never gets old, love it, is what you don't even know is inside you. So you start writing, and what you end up with is probably nothing like what you thought you were going to start with. So journaling is perfect for that exploration, because really no one's going to see it. So hopefully it also removes some of that fear of somebody reading it or being judged. It's just for you. So, go nuts and write what you want to write. And there's no rules to journaling so much. Like, you can follow a formula if you're just getting started, like the gratitude journal. So everybody can start there, and you just write a couple things. Another thing you can do is answer a question. There's lots of books out there, or even on Google, you can just Google, questions to write about, and there's the whole list. So if you're stuck for topics, there'll be something there that just interests you. So one of the greatest things that you and I shared in that writing class you were talking about was when I had the bowl of just household items, and I got everyone to choose, which anyone can do. You just have some kind of jar, bowl, whatever, and just just look around the room and write household items on it. And then you pull one out, and then whatever it is, you have to write about that thing. So when we did it in our class, it was one of the most magical moments I've had teaching, because everyone wrote about their past, which was like someone got toaster, like someone got a painted paint can, I think, like different items like that. And they were writing about their childhood. I think you wrote about one of your friends that you hadn't seen in 15 years or something like that. So just this little word sparked these memories from somewhere in the past, that then beautiful stories came out of it, that, if we didn't do that exercise, you probably wouldn't have thought of those memories for who knows how long. So I just love how one little thing can spark something so, in the past, in the future, some dream, something magical that you want to talk about, that you don't even know you want to talk about. And then it comes out, and then everyone's like, what? And I love transformation. It's amazing to watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. I've had goosebumps for this whole entire topic. That was, yes, it's so magical. And just like opening up your brain like that. I think, and I remember those nights of coming to your writing course where I felt like I was walking into the magic room. Like you just don't even know what's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I feel like after taking your course, I got better with blog writing. I allowed myself to go to places that I wasn't going to before. And honestly, writing, making jewelry, all these creative things, I always feel like it's a force coming through us. Like it's not even, like you said, you have no idea what's going to happen. And you really should. School kind of teaches you to be structured and know what's coming and figure it. But no, just let it come out because it is so magical. And
yeah, it's true. It's a process. Like it doesn't happen right away. If you haven't written since you were in school, 10, 20 years, whatever it is. That's why using some of the tools like taking household item and just whatever comes to your mind, you just write whatever that is, or the gratitude journal is a great way to start, right? Because everyone express gratitude for something. So it just gets you going. And then maybe one of those things you write about will spark something else and you just keep going, right? So
I love it.
Getting into the practice of it, just you really discover yourself. It's a gift to yourself that you can't get any other way, that I've discovered anyways. And it's so cool. Like when you look back 6 months from now and you read your journal entries 6 months ago, you're going to rediscover, because you're going to forget about some of the stuff you wrote about. So you're going to be like, oh yeah. Like, it really is a self-discovery journey that it's endless. The ideas are endless.
Yeah, exactly. I have to share with a project my mom's doing right now. So she has all these letters and also journal entries that she had typed. Anyway, her typed journal entries are 36 pages of tiny type, front and back, all in German.
Wow.
And it was all, she and my dad did a trip through Europe and Africa and the Soviet Union in like 1967. Ooh. And so that it's all of that. I guess she probably journaled in a book and then typed it out when she got home. Right. So she's translating it now into English, which is such a big gift. And oh my God, Tara, she said, I think I'm gonna need to talk to Tara because one of our friends is saying to her, you need to turn this into a book. Yeah. Like, it's such an adventure and she's just so happy. And, that's the other thing. Like my mom had some health issues last year and we found there was a clogged artery in her neck, which caused, oxygen lacking to the brain. So she's fine, but she's not where she was before, right? But this exploration with her writing now, oh my God, the conversations we're having, and I think it's helping to heal her brain.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Happy to hear it. And I'd love to talk to her for sure. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, any type of that writing that you discover, years later, it will affect you somehow. It will spark something, hopefully good into your life. And it reminds you of all these things you did that you may have forgotten about, right? It's like the map of your life that you can now look back on. It's great.
For sure. And I think it's so good for brain health too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to keep things lit up and exciting and it's a really, now during this pandemic, I mean, the timing that, I was saying this before, like March was great because the warm weather was coming. We were all outside, but now as we're going inside again, a great thing to learn to do, to really just dive into writing and make that commitment because like you said, we're going to get to know ourselves and we can't control what's going on in the world right now, but we can control how we think and ourselves and
yeah, exactly. And the great thing too about journaling, I mean, there's so many things we could talk about.
Tell us more.
I always recommend, and I think most people do this, is to work with a pen and paper, where most of our writing now is online. So it's a different experience for sure. Like as as a jewelry maker, you're working with your hands, and so you're using your physical and your logical and your creative brain at the same time, because you have to do both. So it helps to block out other thoughts you might be having, because you have to concentrate. Both your whole brain, your whole self has to concentrate on this one project. So when you're doing writing with a pen and paper, it's the same idea as making jewelry or doing a painting where you're engaging your hands. You have to, other thoughts get blocked out and you get lost in your writing, because both sides of your brain are being used to do this one activity. So it's so helpful to bring this creativity to life, rather than on the computer where you can be distracted by a lot of different things. It's not the same experience. So I always recommend, if you're going to try journaling, or if you're doing it now on a computer, try it in just with a pen and a paper. It enhances the experience quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. You know what? I wanted to, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but quite a few years ago, I think it was in my late 20s, I was seeing like a psychologist, and she was doing this whole thing where she wanted you to talk to your inner child and figure out, like healing by talking to the little kid inside, which was a great exercise. Right. And so what she said was, write a question to the little girl with your dominant hand, and then answer with the other hand. And that was really cool too, because you're again, like you're using these two sides of the brain, and stuff was coming out that wouldn't at all with my dominant hand.
Right. It's a little harder. The point, I don't know about where her point was, but one of the benefits of that is you're concentrating on your task. So, what am I having for dinner? What am I going to do with the kids tonight? When am I going to walk the dog? Like that disappears, because your focus is now, how am I going to write this with my wrong hand? So it helps to get rid of all those thoughts that are always circling in our heads, and just let you sink into that creativity and get the best results out of it. So try writing with your right or left hand, whichever is not usual for you. Changing things up like that. And even in a journal, I don't always write linear. Sometimes I'll write like in a big circle like this, or I'll go like right on the side, or in different colors even. Like all of these different ideas will spark different creative thoughts. And so you don't have to just sit there and write like a straight book, like you're writing a note for the grocery store. Get crazy with it, use all kinds of, you can use, not pictures so much, but like colors and designs and upside down and right side up, do whatever you feel. Just do it.
Just let it go. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So Tara, you do your freelance writing, but then you also, like now during the pandemic, are you still coaching people who want to learn how to write? Your Instagram is great. I mean, one thing I love is I sometimes, like Sundays, I always write my blogs, and I'll go to your page just to watch you talk about some tips to get me fired up. They're really helpful. And I know you have your Blog Bootcamp. You've got all kinds of great things people can join. So tell us a little bit about how people can get involved with you and let their inner writer out.
Let her out.
Let her out.
So I do freelance writing for companies mostly. I do a lot of real estate work in all different areas of real estate, and then I do ghostwriting for people who need to write on a regular basis and just don't have the time or the interest. So I do some of that. And then Blog Bootcamp was going really well, which was designed to teach entrepreneurs how to do blog writing on their own, because not everybody can afford to hire a writer, or sometimes you just want to express your own thoughts. So it was a map that you can work with that will be successful to get you to write some blogs. And it was going great until, of course, COVID came. So I had to cancel all the places I had booked to teach. So I've now transformed it into a one-on-one, because I find teaching writing, there's such an energy exchange between the people that doing it online with a group is difficult for me to feel like I'm really giving the most value to each person.
Okay.
So I've changed it to a one-on-one program. It's just 4 weeks, and then we really can get into your business even more so than we could in the bigger group, where I try to give everyone a chance to talk about their business, and we try to address questions for everyone. But this way, it's fully, you'll walk away with lots of blog topics, with a blog calendar, with different ways you can use blogs in all parts of your business. So once you have that piece, you can use this content in different areas, and just to get over the fear of writing. And, I'll give you lots of tips. You don't have to be a writer necessarily to write blogs. There's lots of ways you can do it that anyone can do. Promise.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I love it. Oh, you are the real deal. I've loved every minute of working with you, and inspire me so much.
Yeah. Same. Your Instagram too. So sparkly. Mine's
I try to keep it sparkly.
It's more sparkly.
Oh, you're sparkly already, girl. It's so great. I so appreciate your time, Tara. This has been really great, and I love your story. I think it's so interesting to see the progression of, where you started as a kid and what was happening with your, your little theater friends and doing your plays and everything to now what you're doing, and so many brave moments where you left something that was secure and a sure thing to, jump off the cliff and just go for it. So
you gotta go for it.
Bravo, lady.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Cool to talk to you.
Well, I would love to have you over for a little Instagram after party now.
Yeah.
So we'll take a short break.
Okay.
But I will say goodbye to you here on the Facebook Live. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you, girl.
Love you. Happy writing, everyone.
Yes, happy writing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. That was the amazing Tara MacIntosh. She is so lovely. I didn't mean to cut her off there, but if you want to see more, please join us on Instagram Live. We are going to have a chat there and have some fun. And remember, if you want this nice icy blue top I'm wearing, it is on Brenda Bedome's website at Brenda, BrendaBeddome.com. I will leave all the information in the comments. And hey guys, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, I sure would love it if you would subscribe to the channel and share this with all your friends. And going back to Brenda, do not forget to use the coupon code GET2KNOWHER so that you get 13% off of your order. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you again next week with another kick-ass inspiring businesswoman. Talk to you soon.